Hello students, welcome to the online lecture series of St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurugram. Myself Satinder Vats, Assistant Professor in ETCE department, and our today's topic of the lecture is Basic of Communication System, which is a part of Unit 1st of Communication Systems, which is the subject of ETCE 4th semester. Okay. So first of all, why do we need a communication system? So we need to transmit some sort of information from one point to another. Let's say I have some information and I want to transmit it to a person at some distance, or we can say at several kilometers or several thousands kilometer away, and I want to transmit that information. So how would I do that? I would require a communication channel or a system through which I can process my information and into a uh, convert into a form that can easily be transmitted through a communication channel up to the required destination. So if someone require the information I have and somebody else would need that information, so I need to transmit it with a communication system which possesses a communication channel. So first of all, we would see what information is. Information can be anything like a loaded word, or it can be some semantic or philosophical notions. Information is organized or classified data which has some meaningful values. Meaningful values means it must contain some meaningful value with it, so that at the receiver and the receiver can process it and extract the useful knowledge or information out of that. So information is the processed data on which decisions and actions can be based or can be taken. So information must be some processed data on which the receiver can take some actions. So for the information to be meaningful, there are some properties or characteristics of that information, that it must be available timely. It must be available timely to the receiver so that he can act upon it in a particular frame of time. If he or she receives the informations after the required time, it may not be of any use for him. So it should be timely. The information should be transmitted timely. Second is accuracy. Accuracy. So information should be accurate in all prospects. If I transmit some inaccurate information to the receiver, it may be not be useful for him, and it must be complete. It must contain all the data that is required by the receiver. Okay. So second is message. What is a message? Message is nothing but the physical manifestation of the information as produced by the source. As the information is produced by some source, so it is nothing but the physical manifestation of the information. That is, the information has to be converted in some form that can be transmitted through a channel. Okay. So the goal of the communication system is to reproduce at the destination end the acceptable replica of that source information or source message, so that at the receiver or at the destination end the receiver of the information can replicate the source message, or it can receive the source message in the original form. That is the main goal of the communication system. So the message we are talking about that we need to transmit from source to destination can be in analog form or in digital form. So analog message is a physical quantity that varies with time in a continuous fashion. Like if this is a signal, I would say this is a analog signal, as it is varying continuously with time. It is a continuous time signal, so it is an analog signal. So there are several examples of an analog signal, like an acoustic pressure produced when somebody speaks, okay, or it can be the angular position of the aircraft gyro, or it can be light intensity. So all of these are analog signals which are varying continuously with the time, okay. And next is digital signal or digital message. It is an ordered sequence of symbols selected from a finite set of discrete elements. So a digital message uh, would consist of only limited set of signals arranged in the time at a discrete value of times, like this. So it is available for only discrete value of time, and a limited set of values are available which we would transmit using a communication channel. Yeah, what we do is we convert some sort of information in these digital signals. All the information is converted into these digital signals. Like if we say binary information, in that information is transmitted in forms of 0 and 1 only. Like this is 1, this is 0, this is 1, this is 0, this is 1, this is 0. So all the information is transmitted in the form of 2 digits only, okay. So this is how digital messages works. So here we can see the uh, basic of a communication system. First of all, it's consists of the source from where the information is originated, and after that we convert into some input signal in some form that can be superimposed on a channel and can be transmitted easily. So transducer would convert a signal in a form compatible to our channel. So if we have some form of information, our transducer will convert it into a form that can be transmitted, like some electrical signal. If it transmits it into an electric signal, so we can transmit it using coaxial cables, or it can convert it into optical signal as well. So we would transmit these optical or light signals using the optical fiber. So this is how transducer converts the information in a form which can be transmitted through some sort of channel. Then the middle part is the communication system, which we would discuss in detail in the later lectures, how it would get the input signal and modulate it. So at this point, modulation and multiplexing and so many other type of processes would take place before we transmit the signal. And similarly at the output we would just do the reverse of the source point, like we would do some sort of demodulation over there or demultiplexing. Okay, and then after that the output transducer would again convert the electrical or optical or some other form of message into the original message. Okay, so now these are some of the elements of a communication system. Here we can see in the diagram, first of all there would be a transmitter, that can be an antenna or anything which would transmit the signal into the channel. We would feed the transmitter the input signal and it would radiate it or transmit it through a channel. Okay, this is the channel, transmission channel. It could be a wireless channel or it could be a wired like coaxial or optical fiber like channel, or it could be the electromagnetic waves which travels in free space. So there can be many types of channels and all the channels would include some noise interferences and distortion, whether we would like it or not, but noise interference and distortion would be there in some or other form. So, some channels would have less noise and interferences, and on the other hand some would have large noises and interference in the channel. So at the receiver end, whatever the operations we have performed at the transmitter end, we would again perform the reverse of that processes like demodulation and other operations. So what is the transmitter? It processes the input signal to produce a transmitted signal that is suited for the transmission channel. So it would convert a signal in that form that is suitable for the channel we are using. So it involves modulation and may include coding as well. So at the receiver it may include modulation and coding. Okay, now the transmission channel, it can be any electric medium that bridges the distance from the source to destination. That means it is a bridge between the source and destination, that is the sender and the receiver. It acts as a bridge between the sender and the receiver. So it may be if we are transmitting our signal in form of electrical signals, then it can be a pair of wires or a coaxial cable. Okay, or it can be, if we are transmitting it in light form, then it can be optical fiber or laser beam, or it can be a radio wave if we are transmitting the signal in free space like we do in frequency modulation or our radio receivers FM. Okay, so this is how the transmission channel works. On the receiver end, we would do the processes just reverse as we have done on the transmitter side, like there will be a demodulation and decoding and amplification also, because sometimes we need to amplify the signal because it distorts when it travels hundreds and thousands of kilometers. So we need to amplify the signal. Okay, and also we need to do demodulation and decoding, like if I have converted the message in some code, then it need to be decoded at the receiver end. And the other thing is noise, which is a random and unpredictable electrical signals produced by some natural process which can be internal or external to the system. So the noise can comes within the channel itself, or it may be produced by some external system. Okay, so both of them would made to the noise. Now next thing is modulation. So what is modulation? Modulation is the process of varying one or more properties of a periodic waveform called the carrier signal with a modulating signal that typically contains information to be transmitted. So why do we need modulation? We need modulation because we need to transmit our signal to thousands of kilometers. Okay, so we need some form of process that we can transmit our information efficiently and to the long distances without any disturbance, distortions, and a noise free signal. So we need modulation. It is performed at the transmitter and to achieve efficient and reliable information transmission. So resulting modulation wave thereby carries the message information. Okay, our message information is superimposed on a carrier signal. Carrier signal is modulated by a modulating signal, that is our message signal, and the modulated signal is nothing but the carrier signal on which we have superimposed our message. So here we can see that if this is a modulating signal, this is our message signal, which is a continuous signal varying continuously with time. So if I amplitude modulated it, it would look like something like this, where we have the carrier signal in the form of a sinusoidal signal. If I superimpose this signal on this and vary the amplitude of the carrier signal according to the message signal empty, I would get a signal something like that, which is nothing but a amplitude modulated signal. Okay, so we need to demodulate that signal. We need to demodulate this signal at the receiving end to get the original information. So I would perform the reverse of the modulation process at the receiver end. Okay, so here are some of the properties or the benefits of modulation in the communication system. Why do we need modulation? So first is the antenna length. For efficient transmission, we need to reduce the size of antenna. Suppose if I am transmitting a signal of 100 hertz, okay, if I am transmitting a signal of 100 hertz, which is a very low frequency signal, so it would require a antenna length at the receiver which can receive this signal of 300 kilometer, which is not practically possible. It is not practically possible to have a antenna of this parameter, of this length, because the antenna length would be somewhere comparable to I would need a antenna length of 1:10 lambda by 10. The antenna's length should be comparable to lambda by 10, where lambda is the wavelength of the message signal. So if I have a signal of 100 hertz, it would require a 300 kilometer long antenna. On the other hand, if I superimpose my signal on a carrier frequency of 100 megahertz, let's say if I have a carrier of 100 megahertz, then I would require only an antenna of length 1 meter. Okay, so this is why we need modulation to decrease the antenna size, which we can easily and practically managed to build. So second is to reduce the noises and interferences which our signal comes across when it get transmitted from a channel. So modulation allows us to exchange increased bandwidth for decreased signal power. As we all know, as the message travels thousands of kilometers, so their power keeps on decreasing as the distance increases. Okay, so we need to amplify it at the receiver end. So using modulation, if I need to increase the power at the transmission end, it would require large costs, and it would be practically impossible to acquire that much power. So what we do is we modulate the signal, which increases the bandwidth, that is, it increases the frequency of the signal, and the noise is inversely proportional to the frequency. That means if the frequency is high, the noise will be lesser as compared to low frequency signals. So that is why we need modulation. Other thing is multiplexing. So multiplexing is the process of combining several signals from simultaneous transmission on a channel, like frequency division plexing and time division multiplexing. Let's take an example of the FM broadcast channels. Like at our radio receiver, we receive so many signals at the frequency of say 91.1 megahertz, 98.3 megahertz, okay, or let's say 95.0 megahertz. So it is possible because of modulation that we can select out of these so many signal on the same receiver, because it is possible because of modulation. If modulation was not there, there would be only one broadcast channel in a particular area, or if we try to transmit two or more frequency in the same area, there would be interference between them. Okay, so it is because of modulation that we can select out of so many frequencies on our radio receiver. Okay, so this is for the lecture. Thank you very much.